Greetings, Rabbi Griscott here with your daily Mishnah study and prayer for those who have yard site for tonight, which is the first of Nisan, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, the month of the Exodus, the special month of Pesach begins tonight. Therefore, we will no longer be saying the El Malei Rachamim. It's considered to be a sad prayer, so you can't say it the entire month of Nisan, which is a joyous month. But the rabbis and the Jewish people in their wisdom have come up with various substitute memorial prayers, and I want to thank Rabbi Mandel for sending me the Eloah Slichot. It's kind of the same words as the Malay, but it's considered to be a little different, not quite the same, and therefore allowed during Nisan. It's a classic rabbinic loophole. So we'll be saying this Eloah Slichot, which is a substitute for the Malay. That'll be after the study of Mishnah. The yard sites for tonight, the first of Nisan: Fega Botwinick, Leonard Cohn, Hyman Garon, Benjamin Hankin, Mary Hankin, Ida Harris, Helen Katzberg, Moshe Kushner, David Magadi, Abraham Peltzman, Herman Reisman, Rose Cease, and Edward Zarowski. May their memory be for a blessing. So we're at the third to last Mishnah in the entire tractate of Psachim, because we started with the last chapter, which is chapter 10. And this might be the shortest Mishnah you ever see, at least according to this version of how to cut the Mishnahs and number them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words. Ein maftirin achar hapesach afikomen. That's the whole Mishnah for today. Ein maftirin achar hapesach afikomen. Might recognize this from the Haggadah. I'll get to that in a moment. We may not conclude the Seder meal after eating the Pesach offering with afikomen, which is dessert. So what does that mean? This means in the times of the temple, when you had the Pesach sacrifice, which was a lamb or a goat, the rabbis were concerned, this according to some of the commentaries, the rabbis wanted the taste of the sacred offering to be the last thing that lingers in your mouth. So it would be disrespectful after eating that sacred roast lamb to then have a piece of cake, to then have dessert, right? Because then you're saying, the offering wasn't good enough, I need something else to eat. You should have the taste of the mitzvah, the sacred item, lingering in your mouth. So you may not eat after the offering in afikomen, which in this context means a dessert. Now it gets a little confusing. In the original context, afikomen, which probably comes from Greek, it sounds like a Greek word, it means you can't have a dessert after the Pesach offering. However, nowadays the afikomen has come to mean the last little piece of matzah, because that itself functions as the dessert for us. We make matzah dessert, right? Traditionally you hide it from the kids. The kids go on a scavenger hunt and they find it and then they get a present. We've made a whole ritual out of the afikomen, the fun ritual that the kids look forward to. Right? You have to have an incentive for kids to be able to stay up so late without falling asleep. So the afikomen is certainly something that piques the kids' interest. Now we refer to that last piece of matzah as the afikomen, and this law is transferred onto that. Just like in temple times, you couldn't eat anything after the Pesach offering. Now you can't eat any food after the afikomen, what we call the afikomen, which is the last bit of matzah, because that's the only mitzvah item that we have. Without the Pesach offering, the only biblically commanded item to eat is the matzah. We also, in fact, have to eat maror, but that's bitter, right? That's associated with something negative. Matzah is associated with our freedom. We left Egypt in such a hurry, and the dough did not have time to rise. So now the rabbis decree that that should be the last taste in your mouth. You should let the matzah linger in your mouth because that's the sacred mitzvah item that we have today. You are allowed to drink after eating the afikomen, and indeed we do have another cup of wine. And you could drink tea, you could have coffee, water, etc., etc. Okay, now you might also recognize this line as the answer that we give to the Chacham. The wise child asks, what are these laws and testimonies and statutes that God has commanded you? And we answer, it says, tell him all the laws of Pesach until this Mishnah, which is another way of saying, explain the whole Seder night until the very end, like the last thing you have to know, which is about the dessert on the afikomen. There's a little bit about that at the Seder after that, right? We have a few stages to go after that, but it's kind of just a way of saying like the last main law, teach until the very end. It's a euphemistic way of saying that. Okay, well that is the Mishnah for today. Once again, I will say this substitute prayer for the yardzites for tonight, this Eloah Slichot, which we'll be saying throughout the month of Nisan since we cannot say the Malay. Eloah Slichos, Chanun V'rachu Merach Apayim Rav Chesed, Hamtzei Kaparas Pesha V'akravas Yesha, Umenucha Nechona Tachas Kanfei Ashchina B'malos Kedoshim V'Tahorim, Kizor Harakia Mazhirim Es Nishmos Kol Haskaros Shalalayla Shalchuli Olaman. Anabal Harachmim Zachar lahem latova kol zichu yosehem mitzid kosehem biartos achayim ufsach lahem shari tzedek the ora shari chemle v'chanina b'seser kenafecha tasdirehem liolamim utzror b'tzor achayim es nishmasam adonaihu nachlasam yanuchu b'shalom mishkavam v'nomar amen. And then in English, I'm going to say a different prayer, which is the prayer following the study of Mishnah. Please, O Hashem, full of mercy, for in your hand is the soul of all the living and the spirit of every human being. May you find favor in our Torah study and prayer for the souls of those who have yardzites for tonight, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, Fega Botwinick, Leonard Cohen, Hyman Garin, Benjamin Hankin, Mary Hankin, Ida Harris, Helen Katzberg, Moshe Kushner, David Magadi, Abraham Peltzman, Herman Reisman, Rose Cease, and Edward Zarowski, in whose memory we pray and in whose memory we have studied. Accept them, continue to accept them with love and affection, and send them your holy and pure angels to lead, to settle under the tree of life, near the souls of the righteous and devout men and women, to enjoy the radiance of your presence, to satiate them from the good that is concealed for the righteous. May their body repose in the grave with proper contentment, pleasure, gladness, and peace. As it is written, let them enter in peace, let them rest on their beds, everyone who has lived in his proper way. As it is written, let the devout exult in glory, let them sing joyously upon their beds. As it is written, if you lay down, you will not fear. When you lay down, your sleep will be sweet. Quoting from Isaiah and Psalms and Proverbs and from the book of Job. That is our study for today, and we will see you again, please God, tomorrow. Wishing everyone a Chodesh Tov, a happy new month of Nisan.